Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. Janelle's on assignment. The man accused of stealing a Billings Met transit bus made an appearance in Yellowstone County Justice Court today. Sheriff's deputies arrested 28-year-old Devonta Kwame Belton at Bench Boulevard and Airport Road after that bus was stolen. At the downtown transfer center yesterday, the affidavit states Belton spoke nonsensical things and flailed about while sitting in the driver's seat. Deputies drew guns and a taser before Belton complied. An 89-year-old woman and a 38-year-old woman were in the back seat of the bus at the time. Belton faces charges of felony theft and 3 misdemeanors, 2 counts of unlawful restraint and possession of drug paraphernalia. Now, during booking at the detention facility, deputies also say they found a small gold pipe used to ingest dangerous drugs on Belton. Well, a small candlelight vigil was held last night outside of the apartment building in Great Falls where a 5-year-old boy was found dead on Wednesday. Dozens gathered around that memorial, standing silently in the freezing cold. Some brought candles, others brought stuffed animals. Clustered around a group of candles on the ground was a teddy bear, a Scooby-Doo doll, and a Spider-Man doll. 3 people have been charged with deliberate homicide for Antonio's death. His parents, Emilio Renova and Stephanie Byington, and Rasco Birdtail, an acquaintance of theirs. Now, according to police, that boy appeared to be severely beaten with blood and brain matter on his clothing and surrounding his body. Antonio had only been reunited with his parents since February after spending 4 years with a foster family. Now, we spoke with his foster mom, Christy, today about her foster son and his horrible passing.
Tony was a sweet boy. He loved animals. He always knew how to make people laugh. He was such a ham. He loved going to church. He loved learning new things. Before we dropped him off the last time, we told him, if they start hurting you, tell somebody. Tell an adult that somebody can help you. Somebody can help you get away from them if they start hurting you. If you think something's happening, don't feel shy about it. Call, report it, get some help for the kid. If it turns out it's nothing and you were mistaken, no harm, no foul, but at least somebody stepped in and helped, tried to help.
Well, Christy is trying to get access to her foster son's remains so that he can have a proper funeral. Plans to relocate the headquarters of the Bureau of Land Management from Washington, D.C. to Grand Junction, Colorado are moving full steam ahead. Just last week, hundreds of Interior Department employees were given relocation notices starting a 30-day clock for them to either agree to move or choose an early retirement. MTN's Jay Cohn is here now to bring us more details on that controversial move. Jay?
Well, Russ, the clock is ticking now for as many as 250 BLM employees at the agency's Washington, D.C. offices who must either choose to relocate to a field office out west or face getting booted from the federal workforce. Acting BLM Director William Pendley says those employees can begin to apply for early retirement next week. Once approved, their separation from federal service would occur by the end of next January. Now, the move could result in big changes at the agency's office here in Billings. Officials telling MTN News that 3 headquarter positions will move to the Montana-Dakota State Office in Billings to address specific needs regarding compliance with the National Environmental Policy Act, along with energy and minerals. Now, the BLM manages some 245 million acres of public land across the country. It also controls 700 million acres of mineral rights. BLM officials tell us relocating its headquarter functions to the western U.S. will not only benefit the public, but also its employees. But critics, including the agency's former assistant director, believes the relocation is, quote, a terrible idea.
What they're doing is really moving the really top career people out of Washington, D.C., leaving just primarily the political appointees who most of the time don't have a whole lot of knowledge about how you should be managing the public land.
There's going to be a severe brain drain and a severe loss of expertise. And what that allows is those special interests, those corporate interests that want to exploit our public lands and profit off them to gain an inholding over the rest of the public.
BLM spokesman Derek Henry told me via email today that, quote, moving the people who make critical decisions about those lands and programs closer to the people and landscapes affected will help provide a greater on-the-ground understanding and will also foster better partnerships with communities and organizations there. Other benefits of the move, he says, include having more senior staff working closely with junior employees, increasing opportunities for mentoring and training of future leaders. Plus, he cites general cost savings due to less expensive office space and decreasing travel costs. But a major criticism of this plan is the lack of any specific justification or cost analysis. Jason O'Neill telling me today the agency has failed to provide any details on how this relocation will be more efficient. And according to reporting from The Hill, although the Interior Department says it's been given the green light to spend up to $5.7 million on the reorganization plan, future funding is still very much in question. In fact, just this week, a group of D.C. lawmakers asked appropriators to block funding for this BLM move, which they claim is designed to harm public lands and limit congressional oversight. Russ?
All right, thank you, Jay. Well, Attorney General William Barr was in Montana today to address a growing problem on reservations in Big Sky Country and across the U.S. In front of Confederate Salish Kootenai tribal leaders in their tribal council chamber, AG Barr announced a new initiative aimed at helping to reduce the number of new MMIP cases and to help solve ongoing investigations. The new initiative creates 11 MMIP coordinators in 11 different states, including Montana. It also creates FBI rapid deployment teams to help combat this nationwide epidemic.
A tribal, state, or local law enforcement agency can request expert assistance from the FBI based on the specific circumstances of the missing person case. And the FBI will have a variety of resources available for deployment depending on the circumstances.
Well, the Attorney General also said that the President is aware of the MMIP problem and will have more to address that crisis in the future. Well, there's more news from across our state tonight. Teens from all across Montana converged on the state capitol today, all in an effort to combat childhood hunger. Join me for that and much more on the MTN Statewide News at 9 tonight on the CW. But first, still to come on tonight's 5:30 News, for those left behind after someone completes suicide, it can feel like the pain never ends. We're going to tell you about a program to help heal. Then coming up later in sports, Scott has a fun look at more than 30 years of video from your Cat-Grizz football rivalry.
And today was a beautiful day in the weather across much of Montana, even the Billings area. But coming up next week, we are expecting snow every day. How much will we get? We'll have the answer coming up.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.